So there's actually a way to make money off of properties that are already listed on the MLS, also known as the multiple listing service. Basically a property that's being sold by a realtor, and you can flip this house without having to put any money down or anything like that, and you can make a lot of money very quickly. Hey, what is going on, everyone? Devin Can up here with another video, and today I'm talking about wholesaling a house that is listed by a realtor. And so if you're new to the channel and you don't know what real estate wholesaling is where we find discounted properties and get them under contract and flip this contract over to someone with cash, also known as a cash buyer or an investor. And so what we're talking about in today's video is doing the same principle, but with a property that's already listed on the MLS with a realtor. And so this is a pretty simple procedure, but you're just going to want to make sure that it's a little bit different in a sense. It's all the same basic principles, but at the end of the day, it's just the wording and stuff like that. So with this, I've done this a couple times, and you just want to make sure that you're doing things appropriately, so that way you're not going behind anybody's backs or anything like that, just because sellers get a little bit, frisky for a lack of better term. And with that, I'll explain this out in today's video. And so what you're going to want to do, let's say that you find a property and you decide that you want to make an offer on it. With this, you can make an offer on just a ton of properties and then just see who bites. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to contact the realtor that's listing the property first. And so the reason being is because they're the ones that have direct contact with the seller of this property. And they're the ones that have already built up the rapport, and they're the ones listing the property. And I really don't recommend you go around the realtor. You can, and I really don't know the legality side of things, but it's just you want to have like a long-term relationship with the realtor as well, because they may send you off deals in the future. And so if you make this one work and the relationship goes well, you can have more deals in your pipeline in the future. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining a good relationship. So what you're going to want to do is call up the realtor and say, hey, I want to make an offer on the property, and then just basically give them an offer. And then on top of that, let them know that if you end up purchasing the property, if the seller accepts your offer, then you're going to pay the realtor the full commission. So whether it be like 5 or 6%, it really just depends on who's selling it. But you're going to pay him the full commission. And with this, the knowledge that you need to know is the average realtor usually makes about like 3% on the deal, 2 to 3%. If they are just selling the property, or if they just bring in the buyer for the property. But because you're acting as a buyer in this situation and they're the ones listing it as well, they're basically acting on both ends of the transaction. So you can just tell them, hey, I'll pay you 6%. And so with this, obviously you'll need to have everything set in your own terms. And so usually the reason why this would go through is if it's with a motivated seller, and basically they're motivated to sell their house at a discount, because it's pretty hard to convince them to sell at a discount. So usually these are like towards the end of a listing, more towards the expired side of things, and they've been listed for a long time. And so you just want to make sure that you can get a good deal on this property and that your offer is basically a good offer. So what you're offering is just whatever the offering price is, whether it be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, it really doesn't matter. You can have $10 in your bank account. You can offer whatever. And at the end of the day, all you're going to have to put down is the earnest money, which you can just tell them, hey, I'm going to put down $10, but we're going to make this happen. So you just want to instill confidence inside of the realtor's mind, so that way he trusts you that you can go through with this transaction. And so what you're going to want to do is just send them an offer, tell them all these different parameters that are needed inside of this deal happening. And then on top of that, since it's on the MLS, this is the part that's especially just a little bit different, is you want to try to get the period of the closing date as far out as possible. Now, the reason being is so that way you have time to move around and just try to take action on this deal. And you have the ability to do so, because when a property is on the MLS being sold with the realtor, they're expecting it to take a little bit longer. So you want to get as much time as possible, so that way you can move forward with it. And you want to take control of this property. And the way you do that is you sign up the deal with the contract. And so once you have it under contract, it's basically yours to play with now at this point. This is where you can take control of the situation and move it forward to whatever direction that you are wanting it to go. So if you're just like an investor and you want to pick up the property yourself, you've built up enough capital, you can just take it in on yourself. Or you have other exit strategies as well. You can even go out there and wholesale the property, which is what I'm going to talk about inside of here. So you're going to want to get it for as long of a period as possible. And then on the contract, you're going to want to make sure it has this on there. Next to your name is you want to say like whatever your name, so it would be like John Smith, and then or assigns in the name box of the contract. And then some of the contracts, they like in the state of Idaho, I know they have like a little checkbox where it says allows the seller to assign the contract to someone else. And if they don't, you can just ask them to add or assigns into the box. And so what this allows you to do, the or assigns, is basically allows you to change the name of who is purchasing the property when the closing date comes and whatnot. So you can have someone else buy the property and you don't have to be the one that buys it. So this allows you as to basically wholesale the property. If the realtor asks you why you need to have or assigns on the contract, not always is this going to happen, but sometimes it might. So you just need to be ready to answer this. And so basically just explain to them that, hey, sometimes we need to change the name on the contract for tax reasons, or also there's other times as well where we decide to bring a business partner on. We flip a lot of properties throughout the year, and we want to, sometimes we give some of our business partners the opportunity to join in on this deal with us. So we want the ability to be able to bring them on the closing documents and everything, bring them in on the title. So we may have a name change on there, but at the end of the day, we're picking up the property. So just explain that to them and they should understand. And so just go from there. And then really at the end of the day, it just turns into a normal wholesale deal. So now you have the property under control. You have it on a piece of paper. You have a contract, which actually you have, oh, this one's actually written up. So you have the contract or whatever, and you have it written up on a piece of paper. That's a deal that we're closing right now. So, and then now that you have it under contract, all you have to do is just move forward. And so you're just going to be marketing for a buyer. And what's nice is you should have a decent amount of time to do this. You don't have to close in like 7 days or anything like that. If that's what needs to tie over the deals, you need to close quickly, then go that route. Just make sure that you're all good on that end as far as contingencies and you have fast moving cash buyers. But you have a lot of time to work with on this deal, and with that, you can go ahead and find the best buyer. And if you need a walkthrough inspection, perfect. It's fine. It's basically all exactly the same. Just market this deal. With this one, I probably wouldn't want to post it on Craigslist or a Facebook Marketplace or anything like that, just because it's listed with the realtor. So what I would do is kind of keep it into like if you have an email list of cash buyers, then just contact them that way. And especially if you have phone numbers as well, just call your cash buyers up and try to get them to check out this deal. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you just cancel the contract, whatnot, and then usually you just get your earnest money back and it's not a big deal. So just make sure you have low earnest money as well, so that way you're not tying up a bunch of capital, and in case you have to cancel the contract and you can't get your earnest money back for whatever stupid reason. So that's why I like to keep it low. Like I just signed up that deal that I just showed you on the contract. That one I signed up for $1. Maybe I'll make a video on it, but it's you can keep it pretty low as long as they're motivated and they like the offer that you have, and you can instill trust, respect, and rapport. And I said that in the wrong order. As long as you can instill that into their head and the realtor, then you should be just fine. So really, having a realtor listing a property shouldn't hold anything back. Honestly, at the end of the day, just go out there and take massive imperfect action, and you should be able to go out there and do a deal. Really, there aren't any excuses at this point. So with this knowledge, now you can just go out there and then just go on the MLS, basically Zillow or whatever you want to, whatever you can get access to the MLS on, and just go ahead and just make offers on properties that have been out there on the market for a little bit longer. And like I said before, make sure you build up the relationship with the realtor, because in the future, they may have more deals that you can wholesale. And if you, like I said, if you can close this deal and you can install this trust into them in the relationship over the long run, you can go out there and do more deals. So take massive action, massive and perfect action on this. And so if you ever come across a property that you want to make an offer to on the MLS, go for it, take action on it. And at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose. So you're only one deal away. And like always, if you haven't already and you like today's content, and you made it this far, Join the fam, join the gang by hitting the subscribe button down below. And like always, smash that like button. And one more time, like always, I am uploading every day. So I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.